All right, so the first one is
That's a,
called Did You Know?
all
And
right.
so you have some pretty damn remarkable fans. You have a very flourishing fan base, right?
Grateful. Yes.
Yes.
Very grateful.
But what do they not know about Ricky Lynn Gregg?
Uh, they don't know that I'm crazy in the mind.
I think
They, d-
that's false.
yeah, they probably know that, but they don't know that in high school I didn't have the ability to learn. Not I wanted to, it just didn't stick. Out of that music, I could hear it one time and pow. Now I might play it wrong, as opposed to someone who wanted to play it just like a record, but it was perfect. What came very easy for me was writing music. And back when I was younger, writing words. When you don't get out in life, I'll tell this to young songwriters who want to be lyricists. If you stay in the house and try to dream up things, that's pretty tough. But if you get out in the world and see things, absorb things, it's much easier to relate with that onto paper. Because I've tried sitting in a windowless room, and it's impossible.
Yeah. Yeah. Cubicle writing, right?
Yeah.
I've talked to a lot of
So
those guys, and they're very,
yeah,
very successful at it. And I,
uh,
that,
that's not me. That's
yeah.
not me. I had problems in high school, and I went on and took college courses, even college courses at Nashville Tech. Uh, but what I retained were things that I was dealing with at the time. I don't retain very well, and people know that I'll change my words to my songs during a
Yep.
concert.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, that's part out of fun and part out of, oh my gosh, I've slipped.
I mean, I've never heard him say three nipples and a dime.
Hey, I like that. I've never even, yeah, I've come up with 1,000 to replace it. And of course, the fans come to me and go, Ricky Lynn, play that two nickels and a dime.
I've
Uh,
always been curious, like if you guys opened for Nickelback, would that be two nickels and a dime? Because you'd have to give one of, I don't
right. Hey, there's a phone booth right past my house at a store,
know. No
and they
kidding.
never took it down. And
Is it
I've
still
taken pictures with
functional?
it, but no, it's just
Okay,
a booth.
that sucks. All right, next one's called Mount Rushmore. As I'm sure you're aware, there are four human people on Mount Rushmore, the real one,
Yes,
and they are considered the four best presidents in the history of our country.
right.
But who is on Ricky Lynn Gregg's Mount Rushmore of best rock bands?
Oh wow, Trapeze, Led Zeppelin. Um, hold on, uh, ZZ Top, of course, and my third rock and roll band. This is going to be tough. It's going to be
This
tough.
will be number four, Ricky. Math is
Okay,
hard.
number four. Oh, it's got to be good then, right?
Yep.
Um, folks, bear with me. There are too many to choose from.
Mm-hmm.
Those three came off the top of my head, but I would say Ronnie Montrose.
Wow. Good stuff, man.
Yeah,
Good
he
stuff.
really lit a fire under me at 15.
All right,
It's like,
next segment
wow.
is called What the Heck. All right, so this will be fun. I have 50 questions here. I'm not asking all of them, so don't worry. I'm just going to
Okay.
pull five random ones. But
Okay.
your job is to answer whatever pops into your head. Okay?
You got it.
You can't filter it out. You have to say it. Just whatever you
Okay.
think, flow out. Okay?
Okay.
All right, here we go. This is What the Heck with Ricky Lynn Gregg.
What the heck?
Number one, if you heard God sneeze, what would you say to him?
Bless you.
I would say bless yourself.
Well, I look, we're on the same track
All
then.
right, all right. Number two, I have a feeling I know the answer to this, but who is your hero?
My mom, and somewhat my dad, because we didn't spend a lot of time together, but he never had a discouraging word.
Mhm.
But my mom, for sure, nobody can replace your mom, as you well know. I love your mother
Yep.
like I love mine.
And she said hello, by the way.
You tell her I'm
She's
waiting for my
currently
kiss and
in
hug.
physical rehab trying to get home. So,
Oh, that's
yeah,
right.
she's been going
Oh,
through
she'll
it
be in my
lately.
prayers. Oh
I will let
man,
her know. All right,
please.
number three, what has been your most awkward moment on stage so far?
Okay, I'm in Switzerland and I'm playing in front of elites. Okay, and now I've dropped guitars before, but not under these type of settings. I walked a long walk to the middle of the stage. I went to adjust my microphone, and my guitar fell off my strap,
Oh,
and it went clang. So the promoter came up, took no, not the promoter, my agent, Irene Schmidt. God love that baby. She came and got me, made the whole band exit, and then we had to take 5 minutes for them to get that clang out of their ears, I assume.
uh,
And we re-entered the stage, and we did it properly.
went from a country concert to a heavy metal concert, right?
Oh my God, it was the most embarrassing thing in the world. Now, I've done it in front of other people,
Yeah.
and in America, people could probably get a laugh out of it. But these people were elites
All right.
in
Number
our world.
four. What world record do you think you have a shot at breaking?
What world record? Uh, the most active artist that got the least amount of credit.
There you go. All right, last one. Let's see, number five. Ooh, well, we've already done Mount Rushmore, so we won't do that one. All right, what is your best curse word alternative?
Hot damn.
There you go. Straight from the
Hot
lips
damn.
of Ricky Lynn.
Yes, me and God don't mess around with no blasphemy,
I
but
like
hot
that.
damn is my favorite. I mean, that's when I'm really aggravated. Hot damn.
All right, that was What the Heck with Ricky Lynn Gregg. Next up, this is
Love it.
one artist. Who is one artist that Ricky Lynn Gregg wish the whole world knew about?
John Barry being one of them. And I'll tell you why. He said such a beautiful voice, and his songs, man, go straight to your heart. Uh, Someone else out there, um, mm, man, that's a tough one.
It really
One
is.
reason is because, yeah, because everybody deserves something.
Yep.
And I've often fantasized about why don't they have a channel called Almost Made It,
Yep.
or you know, you know,
Unheralded or
uh,
something like that. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
All right.
Um,
Next one's called Wish List. What are some things you still wish to do?
oh man, I want to travel. Now I've traveled all of the United States, like around and round and round and round. I've gone to Hawaii several times, Alaska, Kodiak Island to perform for military, by the way.
Mhm.
And I've also gone to Iceland and Greenland, uh, and the Azore Islands to perform for the military.
Wow.
But I had to go there and do something I didn't really have time to see. I love to travel. I love to travel, and I'd like to start in Arizona.
Nice. Very cool. All right. Next one's called Biggest Lesson. What do you think is the biggest lesson you've learned directly from music?
Directly from music
Yeah.
is I'm trying to find these words, but I have the answer. Uh, is What's the word for starting something and being completely perfect in your mind on it? Uh, Forgive me for not coming up with a word, but the
Aficionado.
mu- the music business has taught me to dot my I's and cross my T's. Not one
Be a
beat of a measure.
perfectionist.
Perfectionist,
Yeah.
yes. You got to be a perfectionist.
Okay. Nice. All right. Next one's called Moment of Gravity. I think I know the answer to this one too, so I'm excited to hear you talk about it again. A moment of gravity. I always struggle to ask this question because for some reason it always comes out different when I ask it. But I find that every musician, every artist, every creative being, right? You start out as a child and an infant and a toddler and all that. At some time, you're introduced to the thing you end up doing, whether it's music or acting or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But something takes you from that being a hobby to it being who you are, your passion, whatever. What was that something for you?
Um, Interesting because early on in my life, I knew that I was having an aptitude problem. And at that point, when my brothers got me a guitar, later on at 12, my father bought me an electric guitar. There was only one thing I was going to be, and that was a musician. I had friends say, well, we've got to learn another craft in case we don't make it music. I'd never had that thought. I thought, whatever downtime I have, that's part of the business. And so I learned that, uh, you know, dedication. If people, your listeners, if you really want to be a very popular star. Make yourself a time board or a vision board or whatever they call them, and just put it in your mind exactly your steps, what you're going to do, and never give up on it because you'll eventually, by the law of attraction, will get what you want desperately. And it has to do with what you said earlier, your heart. And of course, your mind has to direct you through this world, but your heart will tell you.
Yeah.
And just never, ever give up. And I loved it. I learned that early on that I wasn't going to second. I wasn't going to settle with second best.
Yeah. I love that. All right. Next one's called Grateful. What are the 3 things you are most grateful for, Ricky?
My health, my relationship with Lucretia, uh, my relationship with God. You know, I've always been a God-fearing boy, but since I put since I put both feet on the ground when it comes to spirituality and God the Father, Jesus, um, I found something that no medicine, no drug could ever replace, and that's a feeling of serenity and peace. And everyone should have it. Some people are born with it, you know. Chris Christopherson, Willie,
Yeah.
those guys, man, they were born smooth down the road. Me, I was born at a time where things were pretty erratic, you know. Uh, with Vietnam War, uh, just come off the October, the 8 days of October with John Kennedy and the Russians. So I grew up in a family that was like, oh God, this is bad. So I appreciate that the most. I certainly do.
Amazing stuff, man. Ricky, what do you think of the Boston Chris podcast, man? First time here.
Man, first of all, I want to tell you this is off the chain.
Thank you.
This is awesome. Um, I think what you got going here is, I mean, I remember we used to come and get in your studio and hammer it out, but man, I'm at my house, you're at your studio.
Yep.
Uh, really, really happy to be on this format with you. And I think that you're going to have a lot of success with it because, like I said earlier, there's not too many things you touch that doesn't
Well, I appreciate that.
flourish
You
into
know,
something.
nobody's more consistent than me, man. I gnaw at the
That's
bone. I
right.
stay gnawing for a while. So,
That's
uh,
right.
man, if people are wanting to follow you around, support you, and all of that stuff, what would you say is the best way for them to do that?
Well, of course, Facebook is good. Ricky Lynn Gregg, Ricky L. Gregg, and I'm first time I'm letting you out. RLG Reg. It's kind of a little pseudonym I came up with just to kind of connect with my friends, but all of a sudden it blew up.
Mm.
Now, but I'm on YouTube and of course Google, and they can go to Google and put WW Ricky Lynn Gregg,
And he
and
still
they will
has
get.
the website, y'all.
Yes, Bruce still has my website. Thank you, Bruce.
Yep.
Uh,
I got
yeah,
to say, the original website.
the
Literally the
original
one
website.
that was built, the first one from a country music major label recording
Yes.
artist, and it's still there under the same domain name.
Bruce came to see me in Shreveport at Samstown, and I was working with A-Track. And then I began to get into spiel, and Billy Barrett was there, someone to help that came to me about Trail of Hope.
Mm-hmm.
He was there, and so I began to tell the story over the microphone that I had the first website, and these guys on stage would look at me like, "Boy, out of everything that come out of your mouth, you should have left that alone." But it's true.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fact. It's a fact.
Hey, you
And I'd like to
started
bring this
that,
up too.
man.
Hi, man. Bruce started it for me, so
Yeah, but somebody has to be first, bro.
Yeah,
Somebody has to be
it's pretty
first.
cool.
And honestly, somebody needs to put that shit on your Wikipedia page because
Right.
that stuff is pretty impressive. But it's my brother from a different mother, Mr. Ricky Lynn Gregg, here on the Boston Chris podcast for the first time. I promise it won't be the last time. I'm going to be chatting with Ricky here in a minute about some stuff that I think you might be interested in doing. It's going to be pretty dope. You guys are going to want to hang around for that. We're going to have all kinds of goodness down there in the description below. If you want to follow along with anything I have, you're not going to get that out of me. So you're just going to have to go and type my words in the Google machine or whatever and follow us everywhere if you want to.
Yeah, find us. Yeah.